Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich, right? I didn't know I was going to do a video for you guys today. I just shot a 30-minute hand drawing video for Patreon, and when I was done, I looked at the clock and I was like, it's not even 10 o'clock yet. I'm making good time today. So I thought I would do a Jerome Opena video. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm doing Jerome. One, he's fantastic. Two, I don't believe that I've ever uploaded a video of Jerome's work before. I've shot like two, and for whatever reason, just sometimes I don't upload videos once they're done. If I'm not crazy about like how it went, I'll hold it back. But anyway, today we're gonna do it. I'll get it up. It's gonna be short. I'm gonna try to go like 12 minutes. We can always revisit Jerome. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, and the other reason is because I've had so many requests for Jerome Opena. Anyway, let's get right into this. So this is Seven to Eternity. We don't really need to go in order. We're basically just gonna enjoy how beautiful his work is, and he really can draw well. First time I saw his work, a friend of mine was a big fan of the work that he was doing on Punisher. Punisher, like, he went through like 2 or 3, I wouldn't call them quick evolutions, but I had seen a couple of early books that he had done early for me. Doesn't necessarily mean early in his career. I honestly don't know how long he's been working as a professional artist, but he's had like 2 styles, and then he kind of fell into this, like, sort of, we'll call it like the current iteration of his work, which is pretty detailed. You can see some, maybe Mobius or Travis Charest or Olivier Coipel, and all the things that he was probably into beyond that. But it's really good. He actually has like maybe Lanil Yu a little. I mean, it's really detailed stuff, drawn at a very high level. He inks himself, and really is just insane. I'm always so impressed by what he does. There's actually black and white versions that you can get of these books that are very cool. All this stuff is in perspective and looking sharp. Look at this. Oh my god. If you don't have this book, you need to go get it. Pronto. Yeah, I've been super busy. I've been working probably 12-13 hour days right now, so it's been fun but pretty intense. But I'm doing well. Doing well. But yeah, if you are interested in learning to draw or want to see more videos from me, I have probably 700-800 videos up on Patreon. They're long videos too. You'll never get through them all, and some really good shit. So check it out. All the link in the profile or description box, and you won't be disappointed. I do a lot of other book reviews there that for whatever reasons I kind of feel like maybe are more I like more insider baseball type stuff. Sometimes if I'm doing a public video, I don't want to get too like deconstructive of someone's work, but on Patreon, because I consider it an educational platform, I'll tear into art deeper and kind of dissect it in a more like a more clinical way, but not it's not that it's not entertaining. What I mean is just, it's like, you don't want to like it's like, hey, we're gonna check out someone's art, and then you sit and you're like analyzing like why they made a decision. So Jerome sells his original art over at Quan Chang, who's a friend of mine. So if you're actually an art collector, you could go and try to get one of these original pages. They're amazing. I know I've gone through Quan's portfolios at Comic-Con and seen some of these original covers and different things that Jerome lets go, and they're crazy good. I don't know where Jerome lives, and I don't know if he does many shows. I kind of got the impression that he might have been at New York Comic Con, but I didn't go, so I don't know that for a fact. This is a great panel. In some ways, he almost has like a classic illustration style like look. It's not like completely that way, but because there's definitely contemporary elements to how he, like, his costume designs and stuff like that don't look retro, but I think it's rare that you see like people that can really illustrate doing comics. So it sounds weird, but he teeters. He's like a superhero comic with like the illustrator flourishes. It's a delicate balance, you know. It really is. This is very like Lanil kind of like, it's like a lot of it really does go back to Travis. I always say this, Travis Charest, for people that don't know how to pronounce it, and it'll be easier for you to find it that way. But Charest. If you look at the work Travis was doing in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s, and I inked him also for about a year, you'll see what I mean. He was very, very influential. Very, very influential. He basically changed Marvel's top artists, all of them, I think. You know, that's how good and special he was. You can still hear his voice echoing in the halls of Marvel. Man, this is good. He really is like he's a guy that you go, man, I like, the colors are really nice on this, but you do kind of go like, this would look real good in black and white too. This is a lot of stuff to draw. As I'm looking at more pieces, I'm going like, man, there's a lot of characters in this book. A panel like this, that's crazy. Crazy, I tell you. I really feel like art is at a very, very interesting point right now. You've got technology and art and digital color and 3D assets, and it's just, it's wild. It's a wild time. But I think a good time. I've kind of lost touch with video games in the last like year, and it's like, it really is a big inspiration for me, and I feel like it's the one thing that I've been kind of neglecting. This is great. He would do a fantastic Star Wars book. Boy, this is like right out of Star Wars. Better than Star Wars. Some ways. That's a weird line. Damn you to the black well. Oh, Adam. I read it as damn you to the black, and then it was like, well, Adam. It's all how you read it, right? It's interesting because like Olivier Coipel had a very interesting evolution through his art. If you're familiar with his oldest like Legion work, Legion Lost and all that. But this looks right out of like Legion Lost. There was another artist too. I don't always forget his name, but I don't know if I'll remember it right now. But they had a fill-in artist that would sometimes fill in for Olivier, and he kind of was able to do this style too. But it's like very like swirly lines and kind of bigger heads and whatnot. Really, really energetic style. But it's fascinating to see because Coipel kind of went through that phase. Then he went through his Chris Bacalo phase. And then he went into his Travis phase, and that's kind of where he sort of has remained. Yeah, there was definitely a period where he was super into Bacalo. I always take that as a compliment. It's weird because I worked with Chris Bacalo and Travis, two guys who are hugely influential. One funny thing is I remember walking in an editorial one day, and there was a package of inking samples that someone had sent in to get work, and it was all over stuff that I worked on. Like, you know, it was like books that I had worked on, pages that I had inked, originally published. And I was like, this person's going for my job. What's going on? No. It was funny though, but it's like, when you're doing it, you don't realize how important the work is to other people. It's just what you're up to, you know. And then I don't know if it ever really has the like I don't I even to this day I don't really understand like my career, to be honest. Like I don't know the importance of it, or if it even was, to be honest. It's from the inside looking out. I can't tell. People will say nice things, but if you start to buy into that, then you really have to kind of buy into any kind of outward feedback you get, and at that point it's a losing battle. So you're better to just stay focused and try to keep improving and doing more work. You know, it's really like at the end of the day, man, I'm telling you, this is like right out of Star Wars, but really, really cool. I don't know what Jerome is working on currently, but I definitely will be very, very excited to see it. And as we all know, another very detailed book that's a little bit in this style, not exactly, not from the same lineage, because he's an OG, but Silvestri's Batman book is finally going to drop here anytime, and that is really exciting news. All the little teasers and previews that he's been posting look really good. So if you like this kind of detailed, scratchy, you know, teetering on a little bit of illustration in your comic art, then that'll be another one that you're going to want to pick up. Is this the end? Or no, I think. Up in a decent amount of pages, so we've got some. So this is really cool. Look at that. Man, this guy just draws so good. This is so much detail. All these scratchy lines and stuff. Man, it's crazy. Really cool. How, almost like doesn't look like a Frank Quietly drawing, but the storytelling right here has a quietly kind of vibe to me. Maybe like a little bit of his authority work. He had some real nice stuff in that. You know, he's got like the Tomo thing kind of going on in his work to some extent. The Tomo, Mobius, and the other things. But yeah, I mean, Quietly does some really, really great layouts. These are narrow panels, you know. Jerome, I don't know like Rick Remender's script style really well, but this is a lot of information to fit into a widescreen panel, and he does it pretty well, because this is a big dynamic shot that could easily be something quite more substantial, and he squeezes it in really is like a, you know, 2-inch on 11 by 17, like a 2.5-inch panel that is as wide as the page. But there's still a lot of work to be done after this really gorgeous first panel, you know. Yeah, this some of the storytelling here really does have a little bit of a Frank Quietly vibe, like some of his X-Men stuff too. It's just Frank had to draw stuff like this, so it kind of reminds me of it. It's not to say Jerome was pulling from it, to be clear. And he seems to be going with the long, wide panel. And again, because I don't know Rick Remender's scripting style, I don't know if he asks for certain size panels, because some writers will get that specific, where they'll be like, first panel is long, thin panel, widescreen panel. Although I don't know if this would technically be considered widescreen. Then, you know, 3 in the middle tier, and then we end with a bigger splash size panel. It's possible. Some pencilers don't like that. You know, if you're further in your career, you could probably bounce back on a writer and be like, bro, you need to back the fuck up. No. Capullo had said one time, I think Scott Snyder would over-explain things, or was kind of asking for things that Greg felt were like his decisions to be made. And so that was me doing a dramatic recreation of the conversation. Bro, hold on. Zach Wilde, give me a second. What happened to Greg Capullo from the drawing board? He looked so nice back then. Now he's scary. He's like a big burly, big mustache, sunglasses. What happened to the kid with the image hat and fuzzy hair? He was nice, Greg Capul. Younger people that don't remember, like in Wizard, he used to do a column, but it was like he had such a different vibe back then. He was like, he would look like he could be like your cool next door neighbor that draws like comics. He probably still is, honestly. I've never met him, so I don't know. He seems more intense now. Man, this is great. See, where are you gonna get videos that are this random? Most people probably stick to the comic that they're looking at. Not me. You never know what you're gonna get, right? Man, that is really kick-ass, though. This dude draws so good. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how much detail he puts on his stuff, honestly. It's really crazy, because this is so much work. Well, I think what it is, it's not so much that he puts a lot of detail, but overall he's fairly productive, to be honest. I mean, like, this did take a few years to come out. Now I don't know how long it took for him to draw it, but I kind of remember when it was rolling out, where I'd seen like a preview, I started to see the work, and then it at one point it did start to come out, I think, a little bit faster, but it felt like it was over 2 years. Now I could be wrong on that, but anyway. But you know, there's a real similarity to the way that the panels are going here. I'm very curious if it's a Jerome thing, where like if it's Jerome, he generally is establishing something in this first panel, and again, it goes back to the writing, but he kind of shows you what's, you know, where you are, and then the sort of stuff that's going to happen in that area sort of happens. But that could be a Remender thing too. And it also could just be a coincidence. This is nice. Actually, what was funny is I actually shot a really long video of this stuff about a month or two ago, and it was one that I did scrap. It was like an hour. I was like a really long one, honestly. So I have actually gone through this book a few times. I own all these. So the digital files are just easy to shoot a video, but I bought all this. I was really tempted to buy the black and white book, but it was a little expensive, and it was oversized too. It wasn't exactly an artist edition, but it was big, like a portfolio size collection. But I think my comic store had 2 of them. I could be wrong, but they definitely had 1, because I was so close to getting it. So, okay, I'm going to start wrapping this up, because I need to actually get to work. I've got a lot to do today, and, you know, again, this was a little bit of an unplanned video, but I was in the mood to, like, hook up. Well, you know what, too, is I don't really like to take long breaks from YouTube, because I know as a fan of YouTube, it is a bummer when you have a channel that you enjoy, and then the person dips out, and, you know, look, life happens or whatever. I mean, I'm just busy drawing, but it's still, you know, like, you go away for a few weeks or a month, it kind of sucks. So I'm sympathetic to that feeling. So I'll definitely try to come back as much as possible, but I just have so much to do. A little Sean Gordon Murphy vibe there, not necessarily probably more of a coincidence, but Sean Gordon Murphy is really, really good, man. I should do a video on him. I feel like I have. I can't guarantee that they went up, but I feel like I've done 2 or 3 videos on him before. He did a vampire book for Vertigo or DC that I thought was kind of one of my favorite things that he did. It was like good horror style. It had some Nazis running around doing bad stuff. It was really, really cool. And I liked the scuba book that he did. Well, and I also like Tokyo Dawn? Is that what it's called? I have all those. My cat customized one of them, a little asshole. I bought like 12. I bought like some of the variant covers because they were so cool. And yeah, my cat chewed on one of them. Fucker. I wish I had more space in my office. I would have more comics in here. I literally have a short box that's underneath my drafting table that I can't even really get to easily. That's just Mignola comics. It's like I can't remember why I brought it in, but it's pretty much, if it's a short box, I'd say 90% full of Mignola stuff. I can't even get to it and haven't even really looked through it in like 2 years. Past that, I just have books on my shelf, but yeah, I don't have a lot of comics in my office. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. So, there's so few left. Let's just finish them. All right, we'll go full screen mode. But yeah, you guys have a great day. Maybe I'll try to squeeze in a video on Friday, and then I'll be back like Monday, something like that. This weekend's super busy for me, so I definitely can't do any over the weekend. But this ended up being longer than I planned, so it's cool. Have any of you guys checked out the new Jay Lee book? I think there's like 3 issues out now. I've sort of peeked at it. I haven't read it yet though, so I don't really want to make any snap judgments. But let me know what you think of it. Is the story good? What do you think of the art? You know, et cetera, et cetera. There was something on that other page reminded me of Jay Lee. I think like Dark Tower, so that's why I brought it up out of the blue. This guy's cool. See, like in this panel with all the color and sort of the detail, this reminds me a little of Kenneth Rochefort. Or Rochefort? I'm not sure how he says his last name. The colors too, because he uses lots of oranges and things like that. So it's got the palette of Rochefort and the detail. Some really good artists out there, man. I'll tell you what, I've never seen more kick-ass artists that can draw and paint and do graffiti and just so much killer shit. It's a good time to be a fan of art, and then the internet just gets it all to us. Sorry, you guys have a great day. I love you all. If you're an artist, come check out my Patreon. I'm telling you, especially if you haven't ever checked it out, you really won't regret it. It's $3. You'll have full access to everything. There's I do private reviews that you can get, and also private lessons. So any of that stuff is good to go. And I've learned so much doing Patreon. When people ask me like, how did I improve my art so much in the last 2 or 3 years? Honestly, I really give a huge debt of credit to doing Patreon. It was impossible for me not to learn doing hundreds of tutorial videos, hundreds of reviews, and hundreds of lessons. It's just, you know, I never even considered doing a Patreon. People asked me to do it, and I finally succumbed to the pressure of doing it, and lo and behold, it was probably one of the best calls that I ever made, just because I've learned so much. You know, I would have never have learned as much on my own, I don't think, because it's like problem solving for other people was really helpful, because you know, like you know, you do a review for one person and they would have certain issues that were popping up in their work, so I'd have to identify what the problems were and then come up with solutions. And then, you know, I would do someone else, they would draw in a completely different style, have their own set of challenges, and then I have to again isolate what I think they're drifting on, you know, explain it to them, and then find solutions. And I did that over and over and over again, and all of a sudden it was like, wow, man, I've actually learned a lot from this. So go there and learn. I'm telling you. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.